All right. Here we are with another Saturday Night Live Zoom. For us, for some other people, it's morning or afternoon or whatever. But, we keep these things going because they are vital for success in a lifestyle of less is more. They are so vital that if you're not part of this, we know why. Because you're not living it and you're not loving it. So the few are the few. We keep cheering on to this lifestyle because it's the miracles are there for the people who actually do devote to their soul, have that full trust and faith in their soul. They don't have to trust in anybody, not me especially. Trust in their soul. That's all you need to trust in. And once you start understanding what that really means, you'll see the magic unfold in your life in every which way. So we have a couple of people here join us. Wonderful, awesome. We have a little bit more snow coming down here in Toronto. Some more gold shoveling. Finally got the ceiling painted. I got to do one more coat tomorrow. Man, oh man, it's always wonderful to have all these challenges and
it looks beautiful, though, right?
Getting us stronger.
It looks beautiful, the house.
Yeah, it's coming
nicer
along.
and nicer every day.
Coming along. So how's everybody doing?
I got, me. I love it. I was wondering if you had any crystals in your ceiling, painting,
I put a little bit of Gans water in the paint. That's all you need. And then I charged them a 432.
Oh, wow, yay.
Yeah.
That's why the room looks great, because from last week, because you must have a light on somewhere, because last week you didn't have a light on, so the room looks really good.
Yeah.
The vibration, you can feel it. It's good. Oh, yeah, that must be exciting for you.
When I painted the house the first time was over 10 years ago, and I had put ocean water in the paint.
Okay.
And after I finished, and people would come in and they go, "Wow, it feels nice in here." Like that, I wouldn't, without saying anything, because I had a lot of people coming through. In those days, I was teaching people how to grow wheatgrass and stuff and sprouts. But yeah, people would notice the energies. It's there. It's subtle, but it's there. So when you have Ganses and all these wonderful things, you can do crushed crystals in paint. Grind them to really, really fine powder and just get it. When you go to buy your paint, just bring it with you. Have the guy dump it in and mix it for you. So yeah, if you're going to be doing it, why not? It costs you next to nothing to do, and it really does make a difference by adding these things. Because no matter what kind of paint you use, they're all chemical based, even the water based ones. So once they're cured and so on and so forth, they don't emit much anymore these days than they used to in the old days with all the oil based paints, because now it's all water based paints here. The oil based are all phased out.
Yeah.
Low VOCs, whatever that means. There's still stuff in there.
Right. Yeah. No, I've actually I've started my 180 days runner and everyone else, and I love fasting more. I love fasting so much more than even in that 2.5 months of eating, even though it was a great experience to have. But I don't find the physical aspect of fasting a challenge at all. I mean, I kicked off with a 3-day dry to reset, and which was good. And getting into the dries was actually quite easy. And except on the 3rd day, I think I posted a video on the Facebook page, and I knew I had a release to happen, and the release didn't happen. And you can tell I was really tired when I was doing that video, and yeah, because when you're in those dries, there's so much happening in your body that you can feel it, and then you got a release on the first day, didn't release on the second day, and I could feel it. I was banging for a release. When it happened, you just feel so elated. But I know I sent you a question, regarding the dries, and I want the perspective that I come from is, since I've been consistently drying with MFS since July of last year, and the year before that, I just did intermittent drying, just when I was doing my fasting beforehand before I came to you guys. And what I find is that when you do your first 30 days and you do your first end of the month 3-day dry, and it's very difficult, I find, in my experience, to drink the juice afterwards, right? To really get 2 to 3 litres of juice down, you have to force yourself. So mentally, you have to realise that you've got to do that, and you've got to do it. And I understand.
Well, the first day when you're breaking, I wouldn't be concerned about getting all that juice, but gradually back to that.
But what happens, Gino, is, and I'm sure other people have experienced this, it's not about wanting to go fast with the dries. And I'm sticking to the protocols, by the way. I mean, it's 180 days. I'm sticking to the minimum drying protocol of 12 to 14 hours daily, 24 hours, and the 3-day at the end of the month. I'm sticking to that. But what happens is that after the 3-day dry, there is this huge magnetic pull in the soul to go longer. Mm-hmm. And it's such a really, and everybody must experience this. And I think this is the reason in my head why people ask to want to go longer dries. I actually had to send you a message, I think, because I knew what you're going to say back, and I actually needed to hear that, because the pull is it's full on. The force is huge, because it's like the soul's got, here we are, let's keep drying, but it's not good for your body, especially if you're not ready, because you don't want to have those issues, and I'm just wondering if you have experienced that. Ran has experienced it. I'm sure other people have experienced it, and I think it's worth a conversation.
That's the thing. It's very addictive because the feeling is euphoric. And, one too many have been in those situations and they pushed their dries and they got in trouble.
My second master fast, which was, I think, 75 days. The first one was 108. The second one, I was in love with the dry fasting, of course. And I started doing 3-day dry fast per week for like a month or something. And that was like my last month of that one. It's easy to fall off after that. So even though you're in love with it and you're really enjoying it, it's easy to fall off after that. It's easy to feel very weak and say, no, this is too much. I'm going to stop. I'm going to eat. I'm going to do whatever it takes to stop this because it's too much. And I didn't feel it from the beginning. It took a while,
The thing is that we're coming from generations of eating 7 days a week. That's what we're made of. And people want to, change that in a few months or a couple of years or something. I think it was Kesh was saying it takes a couple of generations for to completely metamorphosize from a carnivore diet to a vegetarian diet, vegan diet. 2 generations. He's talking about the process of not only physical but emotional as well. There's a lot going on there. We like the dries. This is why, if you're gonna want to expand on the dries, do it when you're eating. That's the time to do it. When you're on MFS, it's already powerful with the basic dry schedule we have. Trying to expand the dries on that,
it's already powerful.
You're gonna get yourself in trouble more likely.
Yeah.
Some people may be able to push it for a little while, everything, and we've seen a lot of people.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of people, even experienced people.
Say they've been fasting for years and all that.
Yeah, like
if you haven't been master fasting, you haven't been fasting.
I know a person who was doing the cascade. right, the cascade, and then he was like, master fast is too strong. But no, master fast is not too strong. You're doing cascade dry fasting and the master fast, and that's not the protocol.
It's
I've even very experienced people who have been over like maybe 2 years on the master fast. And then another person was doing 30-day dry fast. 30-day dry fast with like minimal. I think it was 30 days or something. Very long dry fast with minimal. I think juice at the end of the day. And I think when the person reached 90 days, then she was like, "Oh, master fast is so strong." And I'm thinking, but that was not master fast, like do it right, and then you're not gonna be struggling. This is, I don't like that. I feel
like
you have the rest of your life.
You get into these euphoric states, and all of a sudden you're in trouble. It comes on quick.
And that's where you've got to go into your body. It's tuning. You've got to get into your grounding and your body, and because you do go into those places.
Yeah, there's maybe one of very few people may be able to get through it, but why try and risk to do that and fall yourself short instead of just doing it at a small pace, gradually increasing it year after year after year, increasing, and then you'll be able to train the body that way in a much more subtle and deeper level that you can handle emotionally, because the emotion is the thing that where people will get themselves in trouble. It's psychologically, we believe that we need to eat 7 days a week. That's what's programmed in here. So we're doing something different in our program, and there's a resistance there, and that's the problem. So how do we change that? To change it overnight, I've never seen it happen. Could it happen? Everything's possible, yeah. But is it likely? Most likely, it's not going to be happening that way. So we do it a little bit at a time, to go back to the memory of where we came from, because we never ate where we came from. And when we go back, we're not going to eat anything physical again.
Yeah, it's impossible, right? Because it feels so good not to eat. I'm sure that's where we come from.
So let's do it prudently. Let's be wise about this. This is a lifetime thing. This is why, as we were talking just earlier, dealing with people for almost 3 decades, in this fasting kind of lifestyle. What my conclusion is from my experiences, most will not do this lifestyle. And we can see just in the 3.5 years from the thousands of people, they'll make every single excuse of that, it's dangerous, it's deficient, and this. The understanding is not there. And they're trying to do things that are not in line with what the teaching is about, to slowly metamorphosize and transform the physical, mental, and emotional bodies. And this is what's going to take time. Whatever time it takes, who cares? Let's embrace whatever happens and let's ride with it, because as you're going through these stages, the feelings are euphoric. Once you pass through some of the healing reactions, the healing reactions, some of us go through stronger healing reactions than others. There's few people that don't have many healing reactions at all, and then there's some that, my goodness, they're into one day and they're having healing reactions. There's just some real major imbalances in all levels, especially the ones on psychiatric drugs. We just had somebody share, and they're in trouble in, I think, 3 days or something. That's serious, and that means you need to fast more. How are you going to clean that up? You ain't going to clean up all those drugs.
I mean, you can start slow
without fasting.
Food, fasting, eating, fasting, eating.
The mechanism of how the body locks into all that stuff, all these synthetics and so on and so forth, It's you really don't understand it. But from what I've seen, they don't come out of your system until you fast.
Yeah, but
Your body will
really,
lock into them for decades.
But what really matters the most is, are you ready to go for it? Are you ready for the big change? Because
Yeah,
most people are not.
That's
Right?
what I just said. Most people are not.
So what you can do, like somebody who's not, who's new to the lifestyle and who has lots of toxicity, start somewhere. Start by eating clean, fasting. You know, like maybe 2-3 days a week fasting, eating clean, fasting. Maybe a couple of times, you know, a year, go for longer. You know, 3 weeks, maybe 40 days, just to go deeper. But you don't have to do 108 because 108 is not. Yes, it will get you much cleaner, but does it really help you change your lifestyle? That's what matters, you know. Does the 108 days help you change your lifestyle? If it doesn't, then
what's the point?
Start with smaller ones. Yeah, exactly. It's all about the lifestyle at the end of the day.
If it's just going to be an event.
It's not an event. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? You know how I look at it? I was thinking about that. And I was actually thinking, just imagine if you went to, say, an event, like a diving sports event, right? Okay, you've got the 2 meter board, you've got the 5 meter board, and you've got the 10 meter board, right? And then you've got the spectators around the outside. So you've got the spectators that that sort of look in, cheer you on. They're not doing it, but they're there. They're supporting you. You got those people, and you need them, and you need them for the encouragement, because it does feed off everybody. Then you've got the 2 meter board. So the 2 meter board is maybe the person that's just dipping their toe in, right? And they're not sure about going to the 5 meter board, which could be a 40-day or a 60-day one, right? And so you're in the 2 meter board, and you're just going 5 days here. You might do a dry fasting once a week or whatever, but you're in the game. You're in the game. Then you got the 5 meter board, and then and they're living it really, because they're kind of doing the 40-day, 60-day, and they're doing it here and there, and they can't get to the 108 days, you know, for whatever reason, lifestyle, environment, but they're still living the MFS lifestyle, or still jumping off that 5 meter board. And then you've got the 10 meter board, which is the 108 days. And by the way, if you put me up on that 10 meter board, there's no way in the world I would jump, because it's something I would do. And then, but you've got a few people, you know, that will do that. But then you've got people like yourself, Gino, who says, no, I'm going to go all the way. This is my lifestyle. No, I'm living the fasting life, so I'm going to go to the 50 meter board. You know, you're the one of many of that group of people, just the very, very few that will do that. And I was sort of thinking that analogy about, you know, our community about MFS, and I think that's everywhere. You know, there's very few of the few that will do the 10 meter board, and few of the few that will do the 50 meter board. But there's people around the sidelines that are cheering us on, and they're there. They want it. They probably want a taste of it, but they're not willing to even dip their toe in. But we love them.
Of course, yeah. We love them all. It's the whole thing about how we've been ingrained to live in this society. It's has nothing to do with balance and health. It's complete opposite. And people are used to living in pain, misery, and suffering. Right? That's the norm out there. Every second person you talk to, there's challenges in their health. And the ones that aren't talking about it, you know, I'm sure they have challenges as well, because when you go into their homes and they go in their medicine cabinet, it's full of something. You know, there's some pharmaceuticals. Pretty much everybody has some pharmaceuticals that they're taking these days. It's just insane. So if you're taking pharmaceutical, why are you taking pharmaceutical if your health is so good? You know, so the few of the few of the few. To do something great, you have to put some effort, and you have to be willing to do what most people will never do. And healing is no different. If you want to be in pain, misery, and suffering, just keep doing what everybody else is doing. It's easy. But if you want to get out of that, you got to be willing to do what most people will not do. And that's the challenge. What did Lisa right here? I have seen a big difference with filtering when I do my dry while on MFS and while eating. While eating, my dry seems so slow to kick into gear. Yeah, of course, but it's a reset. We want to keep that resetting happening when we're eating. Otherwise, we just if we're not fasting, if we're obstructing. Let's look at it that way. If we're eating 7 days a week, we're obstructing 7 days a week. So we have no time to de-obstruct. When we're fasting, we're de-obstructing. When we're eating, we're obstructing. I don't care what diet. It's irrelevant.
Yeah,
different levels of obstruction.
The heavier the diet, the more obstruction.
Yeah. So, you know, we once we gain that understanding, we know that fasting has to be a part of our lifestyle if we want to continuously allow the body to purge and find balance. That's a given. Lisa, when I did my first 108, I thought it was the first event of many that I would do, but I did not realize that it would really mean for the rest of my life. I did not realize the impact of so much truth that shook everything I knew. Yeah. You know, like this is the thing. Most people believe it's an event because they see so much metamorphosis happen in that 108 days, that little time, 3.5 months. They see so much changes, so much healing happening. They think they're done with it. No, it just opens the doors. That's it. That's all. It really just opens the doors. Like, that's why I say 9 years is a good start. You know, I've been at this for 3 decades and, you know, just scratching the surface of understanding. We just keep going and we keep going. This is a lifestyle. We learn to love the lifestyle. We love the feeling of fasting that it gives, the clarity of mind, the connection with spirit. And this lifestyle is not for everybody, and that's okay. You know, you want to eat 7 days a week, by all means, go back to eating 7 days a week. We're not going to force you to fast, believe me. It has to be something that comes from within and a desire to have that full trust in your soul. That's really what it is. Because once you have that taste of the nectar of God, I like to put it, there's nothing that's going to come close to that. There's no food on the planet. I don't care how ripe the fruit is. It's all wonderful and beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's important for people to know that, you know, honestly, when you do 108 days, you might not like food after that. Like, yeah, I mean, so you might not like...
It's not that you won't like food. You don't like the feeling food
Yeah,
gives you.
Yeah, you might not like...
The taste of food, we all love the taste. I love it.
But it goes away in like no time, so...
Yeah, once you swallow it, that enjoyment's gone. Then you have to chew some more and get the flavor, the enjoyment, that enjoyment again, to chew and taste and then swallow. So, it's gone. Chew, taste, gone.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be prepared that you might not like eating and find beauty in eating the way you found beauty before. So if you're not ready for this big change, then maybe do shorter ones, you know, because 108 days will show you like a lot of stuff that you might like, and this means that you might have to let go of many old things that you used to do, and it might not be comfortable.
When the wind was blowing tonight, it felt like I was drinking it into my soul. Yeah, you start getting into the experientialness of whatever's in your environments. You can actually get into the states of being the wind, being the water, being the tree, being the animal, being the plant, being somebody else. Yeah. You can go into that experience because we're not separate. The only thing that separates us is obstructions. You want to be separate, keep obstructing. And that's why you see all the separations. Get into fasting, everything, you feel the unity, the oneness. That's the way I see things. That oneness is a really amazing state to be in when you're fasting. And that's why I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to fasting.
I think everybody would be once you experience it.
But when you're going through healing reactions, you're not going to feel that.
At the beginning, for sure.
And those are the challenging times where a lot of people give up because they don't understand it's part of the process.
Yeah, but you know, the point is not to have healing reactions at the end. you know.
Well,
And if you keep having healing reactions, then there's something wrong.
no, there's nothing wrong.
At
It's
some
part of the
point.
process, and it
Yeah,
takes what
I
it
know.
takes to get there.
I mean,
To keep reducing the healing reactions.
it's
It just
definitely, yeah, what I'm
takes what
saying
it
is that,
takes.
what I'm saying is that, yeah, it takes what it takes, but it's not for good. If you have healing reactions for good, then there is something wrong. But it might take years for some people.
No, there's nothing wrong. What are they doing between the fasts? That's the question.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's why you'll keep getting more and more healing reactions if you're not eating clean, minimal. Yeah, you're going to keep getting healing reactions. Depends on your environment. If you live in a really toxic environment, you're going to get some healing reactions. It's in this planet today. There's not many places you can go that are, I don't think there's anywhere you can go that's absolute pristine anymore. Everything's been touched by man. There's plastics throughout all the oceans and rivers and streams. So the air's, circulating completely around the planet.
But when you're fasting, it doesn't affect you as much.
No, you can control the obstructions of the air much more so than actual eating the obstructions when you're fasting.
And you can let it go as well.
Yeah, your body can easily handle the stuff in the air versus putting things in processing when you're eating. That's a whole different ballgame. Through the lungs, we can process it easier, but it's still gonna, take some work for the body to do. But it's.
I'll tell you what, Gina and Rana. Like you know that I did a 2.5 month break after the 108. If I went longer in my break, it would have been a lot harder, I think, to come back and do another long one. Because as you said before, you've got generations of, stuff in your cells. You've got to be, like, I like that word you use, prudent. You do have to be so prudent about what you're doing. You've got to be really channeling in about what's really happening after you do a long one or a 40-day, 60-day, whatever day you do, because the environment will just take you and zap you back in so quickly. You won't even realize that it's even happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've got to set your intentions. I actually listened to the YouTube that we did on the 29th of December. You know how we were setting our intentions. I forgot what I said, and I actually am doing what I said. And because I rewrote my intentions again before I started this, and it's exactly the same. About getting into the soul and the awareness and having that integration and how to live the human experience, and doing that is my intention. But yeah, you've got to be so prudent, because if you want, why, I can't understand, why do 108 days, right, and go back to your old lifestyle? Like, why do that? Because you've already set a path for freedom. There's and you're only going to get it through fasting your body. If you want that feeling of, like, I love the feeling of being in the bliss zone. It's, everything happens from there.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes through. I'm not going to give that up for nothing, nobody, no one, nothing, because that's the home. That is the home place. I love it so much, and it affects everyone else around me. My husband is accidentally fasting with me. Like, he's not interested in doing MFS. He had grape juice with me yesterday. Like, I haven't said anything, nothing about what's going on. And he's just been having this one meal a day, which is in the evening, and I'm fasting, and he's he knows I'm doing the 180 days. He's on board, supporting me and all that. He's seen the things that happen to my energy going up and all this. And he just accidentally is just fasting with me, and he won't listen to me about it, like what happens and everything, but he kind of energetically, we're connected, so he has to somehow, it affects him. So forget about you, what it does for other people around you is just phenomenal. You don't have to say anything. But yeah, I wanted to say that because there's people, like you're saying, people, you've got to really want this, what you said, Rana, and you've got to be ready for it, all those things. But some people want and ready, but they're not willing to do the sacrifices and the work in order for it to materialize for them in the manifestation on this planet. And if they're not doing this, have a look at the other areas of your life, because it's probably a little bit similar.
Yes.
Do this and it affects everything. Everything.
That's why
I'm preaching, sorry.
That's why we say change everything from A to Z in your life if you want to truly find balance and health. Otherwise, it ain't going to work. You're going to have all the triggers back to where you're going to go back to where you were. When the wind blows, okay. It was, at least it was my second after my 108 days fast that I realized that I felt so obstructed by food. I was literally upset that I felt so exhausted from eating what I wanted to be eating. Yeah, I know. It's when you open up that plasma vacuum tube, everything changes. And there's nothing that does it like MFS. I haven't experienced anything, and I've tried a lot. Diane, just ordered more MFS herbs plus Colima board. I was lazy coming off recent 35-day full MFS and started getting heart palpitations that increase. Scary stuff. Not scary. I've been there. It's just the ego thing. Monkey mind starts happening. I had had heart incident since I hadn't had any heart incident since first MFS 2 years ago. I had to get serious. Colima hadn't had. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the heart palpitations, all that stuff, I've had them all. Those things there, sometimes they won't surface in your first fast. They might surface on your second or third fast as you continue stripping the layers. Don't be scared by these things. Keep doing your breath work, keep doing all that. And usually what's happening with anything to do with heart, number one is emotional, we know that, but physically it's chemicals involved, whether it's from pharmaceuticals or chemicals through the environment somehow or whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So once the fast, you're into the fasting state, the body starts unlocking all this stuff and it puts it into the circulation for it to exit. That's why we're so huge on doing enemas every single day and washing thoroughly, because we want it out as fast as we possibly can. Once the fast loosens it up, that's why we're doing so many enemas, and it will help you in that. There's the heart mudra.
Palpitations.
Yeah, for anything to do with heart, this mudra works really well. You put your index finger on the base of the thumb, and then you get your thumb and you put it on the two middle fingers, and you leave your pinky sticking out, and just sit with that and do your Buteyko type breath work, and just meditate on that, and go into the emotion of what you're feeling with these heart palpitations. It's not pleasant feeling when you have that. Like I said, I've had it several times. It's not pleasant, but just allow the feeling to come to the surface of what the emotion is, and let the body do its work. Anytime there's changes, we got to reemphasize. Anytime there's changes happening in the body on a fast, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, these are good signs. They're good signs. No matter how they may feel, they are good signs when you're on a fast. That means the body is doing exactly what it knows what to do to try and bring balance in those areas. So that's one thing that the confidence will come with the years and years and years of fasting over and over.
And if it's not comfortable, use the tools.
Yeah, we can always back off. You increase some of the herbs, help, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Castor oil packs.
Hey, Gina, sorry to interrupt. I've just got to slip away for 30 minutes, but I'm coming back.
Yeah, sure.
I just got to go. Yeah, I'll be back in 2 seconds. Thank you.
Yeah. So we allow these times where these healing reactions occur to let the body do what it's doing, because we have the trust. It knows exactly what it's doing when you're fasting. When you're eating, it's just what's the word I'm trying to look for? It's in a responsive action. Anytime you're eating, anytime you're putting something in the body, it's responding, and it's doing whatever it can to take care of that situation, because it's actually foreign to eat physical foods, whether we believe it or not, whatever, doesn't matter. But when we're putting food in our body, it's always kind of like a little bit of an attack on the body. Depending on what we eat, it's more of an attack or less of an attack. You know, uh, a lot of people, what is it? A lot of heart attacks happen Monday mornings when people go back to work. You know, weekends usually people eat more. And you know, there are all the stresses of going back to work. You fit it all together, and you could see why most heart attacks happen Monday mornings. So everything is that happens during a fast. We must learn to embrace it and let it ride itself through. Um, the programming that creation put within our physical body is perfect. It's perfect. And this is why we have seen genetic um, in, challenges that people were born with correct themselves through fasting. It's because the body knows exactly what to do when we stop that digestive process for many, many months. And when we live that lifestyle, we continue to experience these miracles. Like the few people that are actually living the lifestyle and, you know, doing it over and over and over continuously, living clean, minimal eating, and extended MFSs over and over, they continue to experience the magic happening, because the actual perfect blueprint that is accessible to all of us, we really don't know what the physicality would be until we've probably went through a few generations of people living this kind of lifestyle of minimal, you know, clean eating, and maybe getting into not eating any physical foods at all. Like, we don't know what this physical body is. We're just looking at the average and the normal of what's out there, you know, from what people are doing. And it's many generations of that happening within our physicality. So don't let these times scare you, Diane. It's
it just means something big wants to come out, in my opinion, from my experience. It's on a dry, usually on a dry fast, maybe after 24 hours, when it's deeper and something big wants to come out, but it's not because you're dry. And of course, you'll feel much more relief when you start drinking and flushing this thing that's blocking you, and doing an enema or colima.
yeah, enema is always number one line of defense for anything, enema and breath work. But that mudra really helps. A lot of people have used it, and you'll see if it comes up again that it will help you. Also, you can use acupressure points, right? There's several acupressure points. You can look at the ones for the heart that will help. Like, there's so many tools we have. It's a challenge to remember them all, especially when you're going through these situations. That's why it's good to have the reference always there and go through it. But
Or you can, yeah, I mean, if you're dry fasting, you can break it if it's too much. If you're eating and you have it, then you want to slow down with the food. Make sure you're, you know, maybe go for a fast a few days to regulate things.
yeah, Lisa says yoga for heart regulating daily, sometimes twice or three times even. Yoga can be done even very lately. Even, how do we deal with heart issues that seemingly came up with when off the fast? Came up what went off the fast. When you're eating, well, it depends what you're eating, right? But
you want to
you know, like
clean up the bowels and
like
fats.
when you're living this lifestyle, it's literally like peeling onion layers. Every fast you do, you're peeling a layer. You're peeling a layer. You don't know what's going to come up next. Like you may have gone through, your first, second fast, and nothing fazed you, and then you go into the third or fourth, and bang, you start getting these healing reactions and so on and so forth. We don't know what's going to come to the surface. We don't know what's locked up.
But that's when you're eating. When you're eating, it's definitely the food.
Yeah, that's what I said. Depends what you're eating.
Yeah, definitely the food. So what to do? Wash your colon as soon
Lots of
as
enemas.
possible, and as much as possible too. And maybe go for a day of liquid, day dry.
Like as we say, the breaking the fast is at least twice as long as the fast itself. So when you're coming off the fast, you if you're doing 108 days, you have another 6 months of lots of things going on still in the body to readjust eating and so on and so forth.
You can go back to your old ways of eating. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna swell, and that affects your heart.
Yeah, like once you start cleaning up the body, you see, as you said earlier, you see how much energy the body uses to process food, because your senses are all awakened and you can feel everything. When you're in that numbed out state, where you've been there for decades, just eating 7 days a week, nothing phases because you're such in a numbed out state. You can't feel anything. But once you start cleaning up, you start feeling everything. And this is where people get scared. This is where you get scared because they've never felt like these senses before. They were all shut down. They were all numbed out.
Yeah, especially when you go back to your old ways, you're going to feel it.
They look at it as negative. No. Your body's talking to you the way it's supposed to be talking to you. You got to listen. That's the difference. The only thing that people talk about whatever deficiencies is that it's all ignorance. They just don't have a clue what's going on and how integrate and how precise and exact and perfect fasting is. They just don't understand it. It's just ignorance. So if you're going to ask somebody about their opinion about fasting and don't have decades behind them of fasting, you're wasting your time and you're going to get the wrong information. I haven't seen, I've seen people that have fasted for years and they still don't have the understanding because they haven't gone to places that a few of us have. So fasting is very much misunderstood out there. When you see articles from science, 3 days you're going to regenerate all your lymphatic system, your immune system, whatever. Well, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, okay. You're going to have some benefits for sure. But by looking at the blood, you're not going to get the picture of what's going on. I don't care what microscope you have. Blood is your sewer system. So what? It cleans it up a bit. Big deal. Because you stopped eating for 3 days. Diane, the more food I eat, the more my heart acts up. Yep. I saw these patients when I worked as ER and RN. Yep. And if they put a colon therapist in all the ERs, they'd have a lot less people being checked in. Because they're plugged up. They're plugged up. That's all it is. They're plugged up. And come out, like I said, when you've cleaned out that GI tract and then you try eating the same amounts of food, the body's gonna have a hard time processing all that stuff. And it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun when you go back to the high obstructive foods. You can get back to eating obstructive foods if you do it slowly and over time. You can get back to that state. How long it will take, I don't know, but you'll go back to where you were and numb yourself out again. That I can assure you. It's possible to do that again if that's what you want to do. You'll go eat your foods that you've wanted to eat because you found that this lifestyle is just not for you. You just got to do it slowly and do it prudently and slowly start introducing obstructive foods in your lifestyle, and you'll get back to where you were in no time. how do we gain the understanding? Um, through many fasts. You will gain the understanding. That's how we'll gain the understanding. Even though we have the information, we've talked about it over and over, et cetera, et cetera. The information's there. Until you've actually go through the experiential part of it, it's very difficult to gain the understanding. You'll have kind of an idea of what to expect, but the fear sets in when you haven't experienced it. Like especially with the heart palpitations, a lot of people get scared with that. Sometimes you get like a tightness feeling. Feels like you're having a heart attack sometimes, actually. But when you're fasting, you shouldn't have any fear. You should.
But you want to do it prudently, of course.
Yeah.
You want to know what you're doing.
You know, keep clean the bowels always, and allow the process to take place. If you have GANS materials, make some pain pads and so on and so forth, and use them to help through that. Thank you. That really helps to know what you explained. Recleansing, my heart is my messenger to get serious with MFS. Yeah, it's a huge challenge to get the information through to people for them to really understand that this is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. We've been talking about it since day one, and very few actually get that it's a lifestyle. It's not an event. Very few. So there's nothing new for me, because I've been at this for so long, and people just want that event to fix all their problems. That's really what's out there. Same mentality as popping a pill to solve all your problems.
Yeah, I mean,
get your surgery, solve the problem. None of these things solve anything. They only cause more problems.
It's a lifestyle. One thing of course, I'm sure most people found when they did the 108 days or 40 or even 3 weeks, is that eating is much more challenging than fasting. Eating clean is much more challenging than fasting, or even just if you don't eat clean, you're gonna be feeling it, of course. But even like eating clean is not easy. It's you have sometimes people say, oh, you have lots of discipline, that's why you're able to fast. No, it's the opposite. Eating clean requires a lot of discipline, and and not only that, also it's less satisfying for sure eating than fasting. Especially the people who have done long fast, 40 days, 108 days, I'm sure they know this. If you did 3 weeks or something, and maybe it's not enough, like you can go back to your old ways before you know it, and maybe not feel too much pain. Yes, you felt amazing when you did the short fast. Yeah. In general, I feel eating clean requires way more discipline, and also it's harder. Like, it's hard. It's hard to find good, delicious, ripe fruits that are clean. It's hard to find when you make salads. Sometimes combination is not the best. Overeating is another thing. So many things. Like you have to think about when you're eating, when you're fasting. It's so simple, especially on the master fast. It's a protocol. It's so easy. You have a few detox symptoms. You feel happy that they're happening, so you can release whatever is blocking you and keep going, and you know how to slow down, to use the tools. It's a much simpler lifestyle and very attractive, but at the same time, when you're eating, you're addicted to the food, so it's hard to go back to fasting. It's always hard to go back to fasting. Yeah, the best thing I would suggest is to wash your colon as much as you can at the beginning of the fast, the first day or two, just to clear the obstructions and whatever is feeding on the obstructions, which makes you hungry or crave.
Lisa, being around food constantly is such a challenge. I constantly want the emotional pleasure of it. Yeah, with children, you got to feed them all the time. Yeah, this is why we keep saying environment dictates outcome. It's going to affect you.
Yeah, especially at the beginning of your fast. But once you're like 1 month, 2 months into it, you don't really, usually don't care so much for the food. Yeah.
No, when you're eating, when you're on the fast, you're on the fast. It's very simple to be on the fast. But when you're eating and you're constantly around food because you got to feed other people, it's a challenge. But you know,
for sure,
there's quite a few people, women who've loved cooking for their family when they were on MFS. And they just tap into the emotion of the food. That's where we if we learn to do that, you get the pleasure without actually eating it, right? I posted those oranges that were from, where were they from? In Palestine? That's that bumper orange crop. My goodness, the color and the juiciness of those oranges. You know, I could taste them. I could taste them. Well, tasting them.
Seriously, it's all about, like, you have tasted
Just
all the
tap
foods
into it.
more or less, so you can remember how a good orange, like, you can create it, right? Instead of buying an orange that doesn't taste good, just create an orange. You know, imagine an orange that tastes good, and I guess take the time to eat it, without really physically doing it. Yeah, I think that would be awesome, but it's just it's a new thing for us, and we don't normally do it.
Food.
Yeah, Ranjit was saying, you know, I remember she says, you know, I tap into it and imagine that I'm eating the food that I'm thinking about, and it gives her the satisfaction. So it would be good to get into that state just to satisfy the emotions.
Yeah, like when I started fasting, for years I would watch the Food Network for hours sometimes. It was satisfying for me.
Yeah, it's kind of addictive.
It got me through some difficult times, but I didn't know what I was doing back then, but I guess I did. Happen into the emotion of the foods.
I mean, yeah, at least watch healthier food. So when you break your fast, you don't go for these foods.
It didn't bother me. Just tapping into the emotion of it was great. It was awesome. You know, it's interesting how everybody has challenges around the food. The fasting, there's a few people who have some challenges only because
healing reactions, but once you're done with the healing reactions, it's nice.
Yeah, the energy levels and everything, the clarity of the mind,
simplicity.
It's a simple lifestyle. Did I get all the stuff here? I think I did.
So Diane, you're thinking to do another one? Are you thinking to do another one? Okay, maybe unmute. Can you do it?
We can unmute you.
Gina will do it for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, I never talked to you guys.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. So, Rana, what was your question? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. Are you doing another one soon?
Yeah, I just ordered some herbs, and yeah, I couldn't figure out one thing, but then I did, and Gino figured it out. Anyway, and the Kalemic board I ordered as well through you guys, because I was just doing enemas before, and I was kind of cheating on the enemas. I mean, I was having when I was doing the fast, I was having 2, 3, 4 natural bowel movements, and I did mostly enemas, but sometimes I'd say to myself, oh, I don't need to do that because I've had 2, 3, 4 bowel movements. Lazy. Even today, I thought, okay, I went for a walk today. My heart's acting up. It's scaring me. Even with my RN background, it's still, and then I've got this medical, I know I go into atrial fib, atrial flutter, and you got to get cardioverted. And
Yeah.
it was so satisfying hearing both you guys and Gino, like, no, my heart is, I'm going to start crying. My heart's telling me that it needs to be looked after.
Mhm.
You know? So, like I said in my little notes there, I gotta listen to it.
Yeah,
sign.
yeah.
For sure.
Embrace
Yeah.
it. Let it come to the surface. Let it flow out.
Yeah. I got a few challenges here at home, and
We all do.
they never end. But yeah, it's important for my heart. I was on a train of thought and then I just lost it. But anyway, it's a blessing, this Master Fast. I've done a 40, to do with my heart, really. A 40 about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and then a 30 a few months ago. And then I was going to do a 40, it was 35. The January 1st class I joined, but I did it, I left it early. And, coming off it too fast, and doing the fruit and then adding a bit of vegetables, just light towards the end of the first or second week, and then a little teeny bite of this apple pie.
Yeah.
I'm vegetarian, so at least I don't eat heavy.
Yeah.
But it's not, sorry, Gino, it's not the fast. It's hard enough, but it's easy compared to, like you keep saying, doing the eating in between. And I'm gonna mourn, that sounds weird, that old way of life, but it's like it's killing me. I don't have like, I'm physically good, except for now that my heart's showing up. But anyway, Gino, what I liked about what you said, I don't want to go that other way. I don't want to see I was going to actually get an appointment with my doctor. I see a doctor once every 5 or 10 years kind of thing, like used to an independent lifestyle. And now I'm thinking, geez, I don't think I will, but I'm not ever going to, if something happens, I won't say, well, he told me, that kind of thing. Yeah. No, but that gives me the confidence to know that when I fast, like dry fast or liquid, I'm drinking my grape juice here and lemon, I'm better. Like,
yeah. See, when these things come up, some people they'll go that route, right? Listen to their doctors, and then they start getting treatments, and they get themselves in a heap of trouble real fast because you're mixing something with people that know nothing about fasting or how the body can heal. They're just treating symptoms.
Oh, exactly.
Chemicals. And, do you want to go that route? It's your choice. People do. So
when you're fasting, it's pretty hard to go, like, it's not the best thing, because your body is very clean and pure. And then you're going for like the aggressive treatments, even if it's medicine.
You're also,
I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do it. Sorry, Gino. Yeah.
No, you're also caregiving, if I remember. Was it you?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a big challenge. I'm going through the same year and a half. It's very challenging when you're in that situation.
Yeah, and I think that's on top. That's doing something with my heart as well. Anxiety. Well, you said emotion. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Caregiving is very difficult, especially depending on the person you're caring for. It's a very tough job. I mean, I see what the caregivers go through. It's pretty hard. I mean, you don't want to be taking it personally at all when you're caring for an older person.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. What's come up for me now is if I get really sick, who's going to look after my loved one? Like I have to look after myself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I have a few herbs left from my Last Supper 12. I've got enough, hopefully, until I get my Divine 9 that I just ordered. So I'm starting. I'm drinking some juice here. yeah, I'll maybe do a dry fast tomorrow
Yeah.
and get going, just get going on it. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get them pretty quick. We've been getting them up pretty quick, within 1 to 3 days max. Usually they're getting up. Mostly for 1 or 2 days they're going out. So,
Where are you, Diane?
Oh, I'm lucky. I'm in White Rock, BC, Canada. So it took, I don't think it even took a week before. So
yeah,
yeah.
So yeah, just this. Like I said, go into the emotion of that pain, whatever you're feeling. And let it
Yeah,
go
that's,
through.
yeah.
Lisa's asking, any advice about re-entering an MFS fast after cardiac crisis? Well, how else are you going to solve it? Food, doctors, surgery, fasting. Fast is the way.
The heart is usually related to the kidneys, right? When the kidneys are not happy, you'll find problems with the heart.
Everything's related. Emotion, and then physical. Your whole body is just backed up. You got to go for the physical body. We're looking at the GI tract, the trunk, and then everything stems from there. So there's a problem in there, and it's going to stem out.
So the kidneys are, in my opinion, are blocked when the GI tract is blocked. So you want to clean up as much as you can. Whenever you have kidney issues, go for or heart issues, go for the GI tract. I would wash the colon as much as I can, starting massive fast.
You're talking about getting lazy, doing enemas and all that.
Yeah.
I'm doing a Kalima board, pretty much. Not when I'm eating. Almost daily. After I have my bowel movement, I do a Kalima board.
In the morning, yeah, every morning.
When I'm eating.
Yeah, me
when
too.
I'm having fast, for sure I'm doing it, but I'm big on cleaning. I don't want to back up.
When you fast enough, you will not enjoy the food inside you for too long. I do colonics every day at work.
Like
every day, 5 days a week, and then on the weekends I do Kalima.
When people say weekends of bowels, they haven't got no clue.
I don't care how weekends. I don't want that stuff inside me.
You're just exercising your bowels. Just instead of a weight, you're using the water. That's all it is. Wash. So you can't overwash. Maybe in one day. I don't know if you can't go from morning to night. You're going to be really tired. You overstressing, just like a muscle. You can't overwork a muscle. You start deteriorating. But an enema a day, no big deal. You can do it for the rest of your life. Bowels still work. The only reason your bowels won't work is you're backed up. You're backed up. The kidneys, adrenals are backed up. The peristalsis from the adrenals is not working properly. Blah 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 blah. I go through all that. It's all the same stuff. It's usually you're just backed up. It's just obstructed in every level. Some people, they start eating fruit. They're constipated. How can fruit constipate? Well, it's not that fruit constipates you, but it is obstructive to a certain degree. And if fruit is backing you up, you got to fast. You got to fast.
Yeah. So it's older stuff. Right?
Yes, the body can't get rid of it. It needs a digestive rest, and that's the key, to give that digestive system a rest. And that's where all the magic happens. The dry fasting is really where all the magic happens. But we want to wash out what the fasts have broken loose, and we want to wash them out quick. And that's why I've not seen, with all the people dry fasting out there, you get some people getting some results here and there, but I don't see the magic happening because they're not cleaning out the GI tract. They're just not cleaning it out. They don't have the understanding. They think dry fasting is going to do it all. If you have a GI tract full of caca, what's the dry fasting going to do? It's going to be focusing on that caca. That's all it's going to be doing. And you're not going to have access to your blueprint. That's the way I've seen it happening with people. is when they clean out the GI tract, the magic starts happening. So that's why we're so adamant about drinking enough juice, doing your enemas, and continually staying on your dry fast schedule, minimum. And as the time goes evolves, a year, 2, 3 years, you expand on that. You know, to get on to get up to 2 days a week on a full MFS of dry fasts, you're gonna feel you're gonna feel it strong.
You're gonna
Very
feel the heart
powerful.
palpitation, all the symptoms.
Not
Which
necessarily,
means,
but
well,
it's
yeah,
powerful.
for me, I
If-
do when
if-
I do long drives.
If your body is not in a state where it's self-hydrating itself because of your lifestyle, you're gonna start drying yourself up.
Mm.
It's that simple. One guy was saying, you know, I can't remember, he was at a dentist or something, and he's telling him, you got to drink water, you're dehydrated, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, if you're eating cooked foods, you're going to dehydrate yourself if you're not drinking water. And even if you drink water, it's only going to catapult the situation. It's not going to hydrate you. It's just going to, the body's going to neutralize and hold on more water. It doesn't mean you're hydrated.
You're gonna be inflamed and swollen, which is the normal look.
We've seen what hydration does. People start growing, start expanding.
Yeah.
Why? That's true hydration, not being blown up with you know, being inflamed. You know, drinking water ain't gonna hydrate you. I don't care how much water you drink. It's only gonna stress out your kidneys more and everything else. But you got to be prudent about things. If you're eating cooked foods, your body's going to want more liquids.
Yeah. You will know when you're thirsty.
It's that simple. It's that simple. You know, do we suggest drinking water? No, never drink it again. But if you're eating cooked foods,
you will know. You don't need us to tell you to drink. You will know that you will want to drink so bad you don't care. You're gonna drink. I mean, we suggest maybe coconut water, or something easier, maybe the juice. Yeah.
Drink some juice. I don't like water.
Yeah.
Not from my understanding. To drink it, it's great for washing. That's what water's good for. Drink it. Even the tea, I do half cup twice a day. I don't even do full cups. I just want the information of the herbs. I don't want the water. We need the water to deliver it, but you don't need to drink a lot of it. Some people say they want to drink more tea. No. Drink the juice. get the juice through you. So what are we gonna, how are we gonna gain the trust in all this? Just keep fasting. And if it's too much, back off, slow down, break the fast, and wait for another one later on. You know, going on and off, you know, some people like doing that, you know, week on, 30 days on, off, on, off, on, off.
A couple of days a week.
The long ones, consecutive. After, you know, seeing what's happened, most people should not do 108 days right off the bat. They're just mentally, emotionally not ready. They're not ready. Well, they can do the 108 days, no problem. But coming out of it is the challenge. And if you're not gonna be able to come out of it properly and live a lifestyle, what's the point? You know, do 40 days, you know, and then break that and for a few months, and then do another one, and then do it that way, slowly introducing the fasting regime into your lifestyle. Because if you don't make it a lifestyle, you're not going to like the way you feel going back to your old ways after 108 days. Not going to be pleasant.
Yeah, so 108 is not for everyone. If you want to still go out to restaurants and enjoy your food, I don't suggest 108. Maybe do a few days a week, 1-2 days a week if you want to clean up a little bit. But if you want to enjoy the normal lifestyle, that everybody else is living, I wouldn't do 108. It's another level, or even 40 days. It's another level. It's a way to prana. I see it. It's you'll be a completely different person. Even if you go back to your old ways, you're not gonna like it.
I love doing the 108 days. I love it. It just when you do 40 days and 40 nights, it's good because you're right. You do get a glimpse, and you do get to do your 3-day dry at the end of the month, and you get that feeling, when a little bit longer. But there's something about when you go past that 90 days, there's just something happens. You don't feel it in the 60-day. It's sort of after the whole change happens. It's a metamorphosis for sure, transformational.
Yeah,
this is so beautiful.
Once you start getting into that 60 plus 70, 80, 90, a lot of things start happening.
It's like it's a high feeling, it's like a high feeling. Although I don't know, like I don't smoke up, but it's like it's a different feeling, it's like something that you definitely do not feel when you're eating. The unity
It's a break.
you're talking about.
It's like you break through the atmosphere. It's like you push. 40 days you have a little push, and then it's just like, wow, as you said, 60, 90, 100. That's what I'm excited about, is 180 days, because I'm thinking to myself, what's the breakthrough going to be? Because I know it won't come back. I already know that I know my path to having mainly liquids, and I don't care about social. You train other people to how they treat you. It's the other way around, not you doing what they want you to do. And you teach other people. It's great. Social, even now, like where I went just for half an hour, it was a group of people that they talk about conversations for change, and it's to do with a huge voluntary organisation. And they begged me to come to this social thing, right? To have chat, to have coffee, to have this and that. I said, I'm not going. I said, I'm on this 180-day soul journey, okay, which includes fasting and all these things that I'm doing. I said, I can't put myself in that temptation. So I said, if you Zoom me in, I'll come, right? So I'm teaching them to, respect my way of living. And so they Zoomed me in, and I got into the conversation, and it was talking about climate change, talking about exactly what you said before, Gino, about all the plastic bottles and everything like that, and what can we do individually to support better for our planet. Some things I don't agree with, right, what they talk about, the politics part of it, but what can we do individually is change. I'm sitting here in my head, I'm thinking, well, in actual fact, we are doing it, because like I don't hardly consume much at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like the amount of carbon output I put out is minimal. And even zooming in, zooming out, I'm not using any fuel to go to a place where I'm actually contributing to the atmosphere. Even the 432 music and all that sort of stuff, all meditation and everything, we're actually healing the planet and, going to another place. So I'm thinking to myself, when you do 180 days or 108 days, you're doing a massive transformation, not just for you, but for the whole planet, for the whole planet. So don't fast for you, fast for the planet. Sorry, I'm on my preaching thing again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's absolutely true. But I mean, be the change you want to see, and you will see the change. Yeah. You will see the change, not only in you, but in everybody around you.
Yeah, it's interesting how we all go through these experiences.
It's always the mind game. It's just always excuses, fear, I can't do this because my little world, it's going to be disrupted, and and it's just all mind. It's just mind, mind, mind. And I found that a lot when I was in my break, how that mind game, just aware of it. You become aware of what's going on. You're watching your video, and which is great because the 108 days gave me that, watching my video all the time while you're eating. And it's the mind. It's just, you just wish that you could just throw that mind away for some period of time, 40 days, 60 days, 90 days, 108 days, and just get back into you, like who you really are. And then you realise, like, the whole video of your life and what's going on, it's just all whatever your paradigm, your conditioning and all that, and playing that through the mind. And the mind loves it, loves hooking onto a particular story about something that's just all really lies. And
I find that many of us are like, we're very busy with our lives, and many of us are tired. We're so tired that we cannot start something new, another challenge, take on another challenge, which is any change is a challenge. It's like outside our comfort zone. So to change from eating to fasting, that's a little bit outside the comfort zone. Eating something that we have done all our lives, and so it's easy to get back to that comfort zone. Fasting, even if you did 108 days, it's only 3.5 months. There's comfort in it, but the most of your life was much more than 108 days. And so it's always hard, it's always challenging in a way, not hard but challenging. It's outside our comfort zone, and we are very tired with our daily lives and responsibilities. And I think it's just, you want to be ready, you want to meditate on it, you want to sit down and say, okay, how am I going to make this very easy for me, as easy as possible? So I would like remove things that are not necessary and prioritize. I think it's very important for us to prioritize. And when you start do the master fast, especially if you've done it before, that you can do much more work, you can be much more productive. So help yourself initially to start it, like pamper yourself.
Yeah, the information out there, it's the diet's going to solve all your problems. And a lot of us have came from all the different diets, and you got to get organic food or this or that, or raw foods and fruitarianism. Okay, cool. I'll come and talk to you in 5-10 years. Haven't seen diet solve anything. It's just you're gonna be in a better situation if you clean up your diet, for sure. But serious conditions and issues, just spiraling out to more confusion. People want to justify a reason for continue to eat. Fasting's not part of people's
but the people who have done
system.
40 to 108 days, they appreciate the fast. Maybe not fully, because it's not their lifestyle yet, but they appreciate it to a certain degree, but they're just afraid to get back on it, because it's a change, and they are very challenged and very stressed out in their lives. Life can be very stressful. It would be nice not to have to go to work, So even if you are lazy, it's okay to be lazy, and then say, okay, now I have been lazy enough, and now that's it. This is for me. I have time.
It's a resistance for people to not live like everybody else in their surroundings living. It's a resistance. They feel as a resistant. Everybody's eating all these foods, and they're thinking, why can't I eat all these foods? Everything's a resistant.
Yeah.
And that's the way they're looking at everything, instead of looking at the other way around, saying, well, why do I want to put myself in pain, misery, or suffering? I feel so good, man. Why do I want to be like them? But it draws you. You're around it constantly. It draws you down into those realms.
It's easy to be drawn to this when you are eating. When you're fasting, it's like a piece of cake. You can socialize, dry fasting, and feeling amazing. But when you're eating, yeah, there's always a chance to cheat and try something different. And why can't I just enjoy the way they're enjoying it, and just back to my old ways, But it does take you in, and you feel trapped and addicted. You try
You know
something
what?
new, another thing, another.
You know what? Yeah. You know what really attracted me to MFS the most? The number one thing was I didn't have to think about the science anymore. My mind was just sick of thinking. Like, I am a thinker, right? I'll think, and I'll go into things. But when I came to here and I was reading your page and listening to all the interviews, and I just like sat in myself and I just relaxed. And I said, I don't have to go research anymore. Is that what you're saying to me? That I don't have to go research all that stuff that I've been doing for decades to get my body right?
Yeah, exactly. He's done the
I
work
cried.
for us.
Yeah, I just it was that was the bang, the big bang, simplicity.
Yeah.
And just not thinking, no more going on Google, researching some, I don't know, vitamin D, whatever's on now, turmeric, herbs are fantastic, whatever's going on. What's the latest thing at the moment? Microbiome. So, like I would go, if it was the old me, would go search everything about microbiome. It would search everything. I would be an expert. And
There's
it
always
doesn't work.
something.
Yeah.
Always something. Keeps changing every few years. It's not.
Change is good, but it's just
It's not easy for people to let go of the science because they believe in it. They've been brought up with it. And we see people's posts. That's all they refer to. Science is science is science is. Okay. That's where you're from. I'm done with that. The only thing got me is in trouble. Big time.
It's not the science's fault.
No.
Like science is very. It's nice to study it. It's nice to sit down and study the details of the cells, and microscopes is so beautiful. What you can see, nature. You can see very small little cells. Like it's so beautiful. It really is an art. The creation. You see the creation that you can't see with your eyes, but you can see it under the microscope. And how it works, and like the theories, and it's nice. But the way science is conducted today, it's just not right.
Money,
and it's very competitive, and it's like it's all after like money and power.
The money has to be removed.
Money and power
to bring validity to science. There's no other way.
and power too. People like to be the first one to discover something.
Yeah. As long as there's something for profit. Now in Ontario, they want to do privatizing for the healthcare system. I don't know what the hell. It's just insane.
I think in a way it's better because you don't have to pay insurance, I guess, this way. Because we're paying insurance for what? I haven't been to my doctor in 3.5 years. So
in the U.S., I think they had something that
actually 4 years, I think.
You couldn't profit for anything to do with medical stuff for up until I can't remember what year it was, and then they opened it up, and look at what happened there. Crazy bills people get after going to a visit for a hospital. It's privatizing for profit. Pharmaceuticals, look at the billions they make. It doesn't matter that a drug is going to kill some people. Once it gets approved, that's the billions they make. Who cares? They got to pay a fine or this and that. They don't give a shit. They don't care. It's insanity. You know, is there a purpose for drugs? Yeah, you know, you're gonna have an accident. You gotta do surgery.
But I'm sure there are herbs that can do the job.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've
Just
lost it all. There's ways to do it with herbs. There's ways. We've lost a lot of it, and it's dying out. So hopefully, the few that have that knowledge carry it on.
I mean, with the
So
internet now, we're sharing, you know, about the herbs. People are learning faster than ever. So, you know, yeah, we might have lost some good herbalists and information, but we still have some.
Yeah. Well, there's always the new understandings coming forth, the plasma science, miraculous things happening there. So, you know, this is not mainstream. We're dealing with a new understanding of higher order of things. When you look at matter state, you're not going to find you're not going to find the answers in matter. It's not going to happen, and that's why we are with where we are in this state of the healing modalities in modern science. It's you know, before up until the point where vaccines and drugs were made, what did humans do? It's only been 100+ years that they've been around. So, you know, like fertilizers and all that for plants, what did they do before, since the beginning of the time? It's all about the dollar sign, bottom line. Like, it's control. So
we allowed it.
We allowed it, so it's all our fault.
We're responsible for it. Yeah. Our generations are responsible for this, for accepting it, for not questioning things. You know?
It's time to change. Time to change now.
I'm sure they knew better, but they didn't do much. Yeah.
There's so much things we can do to improve the state of this planet right now. We can turn it around very quickly if everybody switched that mentality on. Very, very quickly we could clean up this planet. It's just that consciousness needs to be there, you know.
Let's be the change we want to see, and we will see the change.
What we do to environment, we do to ourselves. We're connected.
We do to ourselves, and then it goes out. You know?
Both ways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was actually thinking about how my mum and dad lived in India, and you know, my grandparents, and you know, they wandered their farmlands and just picked at the food, and you know, I feel so blessed. You know, I'm only one generation down, really, from that, and so you know, I think people, like, I'm trying to teach my nephews and nieces, and it's very difficult because they haven't seen or felt that previous world, even though they've got the memory in them. You know, you can tell they sense it, and you just you do your pain because you cry that information's they're going to be lost, because you see how they're being educated, and you see what's going on, and you know, like, you just want to grab them and just say, oh, you know, let me take you back to India or something. I don't know, just grab them out. It's sad to watch that unfold, and you try and make your impact in some way so they remember, if they get a chance to wake up themselves when they're adults and can make their own choices and decisions, that they can go down a different path. than the path of, you know, being systemized and enslaved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy to fall in the trap.
Mm.
We've all fallen for it.
The kids learn fast and they're smart. Yeah. Very interesting to see them now. You know, they're yeah. I love my nephews, and 15 and 13. I just love to talk to them about something that they don't talk about.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I feel like, yeah, I don't want them to be programmed, and I want them to know they're very smart, because they are. Just to remember they're very smart and to do whatever they want. Who cares? Just do whatever you want. You know? Like whatever you love, what your passion. You don't have to do something that makes you money or yeah.
Oh, you would be such a beautiful auntie, Rana. I can imagine you. You'd be gorgeous, you know. And people like you and here, like I remember my 108 days, and my niece was trying to teach me to do a headstand because I wanted to do a headstand, and because dropping off all that, like she was just amazed because the other, you know, aunties and uncles don't do that, but this 48-year-old auntie does a headstand with her, and we danced to music, and the energy was there, and you know, they're the things. Like I was thinking to myself, what's their world? It's a play world, right? So, you know, you got to have, you know, as an adult, you got to have the energy and the effort to play, and then you can imprint things into their cells and say, you know, how come my auntie's not still working in her corporate career? You know, why are all these other people, my mum and dad and this and that, and they all look all stressed out? But here's someone that isn't really living, you know, like how you guys are, many people here, they're living a different way of thinking, different way of life. And yeah, I could just imagine you, Rana, you know, you'd just be so, such a blessing to them.
Thank you.
A real blessing. Thank you for being you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for fasting, and thank you for being yourself, your beautiful self. Yeah. Well,
Easy.
You know, let's thank each other for fasting, you know, because that's the best thing we can do, really.
Yeah.
Connect and just be our best selves, you know.
Yeah.
Anybody else? David, Margaret. Life is challenging. Living a fasting lifestyle is more challenging because the people in our environment are not living this lifestyle, and that's the challenge. To be doing something that is against the grain, I guess.
Yeah. But I find it's always easier for me to handle any challenge when I'm fasting versus when I'm eating. There's no comparison. Even making great food for people is much easier when I'm fasting compared to when I'm eating. I have done it both ways. And I was more stressed when I was eating. And I was less stressed when I was fasting. It's amazing. I was such a good host when I was fasting, you know? When I was eating, I'm like, yeah, I mean, like impatient, you know? Challenged, more challenged for sure. You know? So I want to be fasting. I want to be a good person, a nice person to hang out with, you know?
Yeah. I think when you break through the thinking of you don't need food, when you actually break through that paradigm,
Mhm.
it's like a whole new door. It is like a whole new world that opens up. You're going, hey, you're telling me that, you know, I don't have to put food in my mouth. My mouth's for talking, expressing, and creating, and that's what I think now. And so when you have that breakthrough, it's like, oh wow, this is really quite awesome, because you have control over something. You have the ability where, you know, the cells wake up and they're in their space and they're not, you know, glugged together with, you know, whatever they're glugged with. Doesn't matter what you put in your mouth, I reckon.
Yeah.
You know, because even when I was eating fruit, when I was breaking, it was nice having the fruit and you get the information from the food. I still felt the clogging up.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. Like, I had no desire for greens. So I didn't have any greens.
Mhm.
And yeah, but you know, it clogs you up and the triggers just go, you know, the paradigm goes. But when you know that you have the ability that you don't actually have to eat, it's a really liberating sensation of freedom. It's huge, massive.
Mhm.
You stayed on only fruit in these couple of months?
No, I didn't. I had fruit for the first month, okay, and then I went into some liquids, and then towards the end, the triggers for heavier food came in. So I did have some of my mum's food, and then before, because I had this fetish for pasta, I had bad fetish, and so my last supper was actually pasta with my husband, just a very small amount. It was just all mainly tomato-based and homemade pasta that we got, and I didn't get I didn't feel anything bad with it. Like, it was okay, but you feel tired and you feel, you know, when you start to eat that stuff, even just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You knew what you were
Yeah.
doing. You knew.
And you would,
Yeah. Yeah.
Diane, yes, knowing I don't have to eat is very freeing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
oh,
A free feeling,
yeah,
no desires.
Yeah, especially when it becomes a routine, like maybe after, like, yeah, the cravings will go away quickly. Sometimes they will come, but the cravings and the hunger, and if you're thinking about food, it will come back even day 90. When you start thinking about breaking your fast and start looking at recipes, it comes back, the cravings, even though, but not strong, but just like, oh, I would like to try this, you know? But if you're not thinking about breaking your fast, you're not going to be even, like, you would look at the most delicious food and you will not be desiring it, you know, like it looks like a chair, you know, it doesn't look like food.
yeah. But you get all your tastes. Like, I'm thinking when I get to the end of the 180 days, because I do want to go liquid, you know. But all this taste you can get from liquids, you know, the feeling of taste. Like, you can, like, I love chili. Like, I don't eat chili anymore, but you know, that feeling of chili, that spicy feeling in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a chili liquid drink if you want to.
Yeah, but you can do cayenne powder.
Put
like
some cayenne in your juice.
yeah, or make, if you want, you know, sometimes make, like, if you crave the savory, go for celery. And I used to make celery, some lemon juice, parsley, fennel. I loved fennel. Juicing fennel was nice. Fennel, celery. So I did the master fast, a full master fast, 116 days. That was my longest. Full master fast, and some days were on the weekends. I did the liquid hybrid, which was including the green juice, like 1 glass of green juice, and that was very satisfying. Very satisfying. Like, if you have any cravings for anything savory, that would like hit it. Like, yeah, like you would have no desire after that. You're fine. The celery, the fennel, ginger. I used to put cayenne powder, um, turmeric root. You know, very simple. Lemon juice. Yeah, it was delicious. It's like soup, but it's a juice. It's not blended. Yeah, go for that if you feel like like, you know, you want to go further,
Yeah.
honestly, any taste you want, you can get it through juice.
You can get, yeah.
I mean, even like in the future, if you want to be liquidarian, right?
Mm.
You
Oh, yeah.
drink persimmons, juice it,
Mm.
enjoy it,
Mm.
or just imagine you're eating it. You know? Or
Because I kind of think these 180 days is already done. Like I'm already at the end of it. Like it's, you know, like I don't feel, because I've done the 108 days, I don't feel any challenge in regards to the physical MFS. Like, oh yeah, you just do it, and then but I'm already at the end of the 180 days. Like, and I'm starting to the goes there. You know, like, oh, what will I do? And you know, this and that. And I think I don't want to go back to food. And then always think about what Juno says. It's 3 times longer to break your fast. So I'm thinking 180 days. How many days is that? You know, going to break for, and you know, I just have that. I just automatically my mind. I force my mind to believe that, and then I know, you know, I actually believe what you say. So I just sort of think, okay, I'll do that because that's safe, you know, and you follow the right system, and I don't have to think as much about, you know, what you've got to do. So it's sort of like, okay, all I've got to think about is I just want to satisfy my taste buds at the end of the 180 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The only time we can work with is now, right?
Yeah.
Lisa, I would like to know more about what people experience, like Eugene and Ran, about long-term fasting, healing reactions, physicality. It all depends on what you're eating in between, Lisa. If you're eating clean, the healing reactions are minimal.
Minimum.
When you start eating mama's food, you get healing reactions. You start plugging yourself up, you get healing reactions. This is the thing. And, you know, that's why
Yeah.
we you maintain that the dry fasting schedule, get your resets and everything, but still, when you're eating obstructive foods, you're going to feel it because they're obstructive.
Do you mean when you are fasting, the healing reactions, or eating?
Fasting.
When I'm fasting, yes. Yeah. So no food. So you're not like.
Yeah, but what are you doing between the fasts? That's the key.
But when you go for a long fast, let's say like 108, and keep going, you know, the healing reactions are minimal.
Yeah.
Because they're intense at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then they disappear.
As you live this lifestyle, as the years go by, the healing reactions get less and less. Unless you're, you know, back to eating crap for years on end and you haven't fasted.
They will come back. You'll have to restart almost with
because
the
the body's got memory. And that's the challenge I was talking about before. If you want to go back to your old ways, yeah, you can do it. Slowly, you know, start introducing obstructive foods and you'll get back to where you were in no time.
So the healing reactions will be intense. If I don't eat well and go back on the master fast, they will be intense. Not too much, but I will have similar healing reactions as what I had before. The difference is that I'm much more confident. I know that, oh yeah, this is a healing reaction. Before I used to freak out when you go through them. But now, because you've done them so many times and you've experienced them so many times, that it's like, oh yeah, this is good. This is a change. Something is exiting my body.
So then how do you know that you are healing? If you're fasting, you're healing.
Yeah.
You're always, the body's an autopilot to reset itself and regenerate and find balance. It's an autopilot. The only thing that's lacking is the belief system and faith that is doing that.
Yeah.
That's what's lacking from people that in the ignorance about fasting. Like I said, people don't die fasting; they die eating, breaking fast improperly. Fasting and death, unless somebody's doing something really crazy, for doing some kind of fast for a long time and they're not using the tools like we use and all that, because today's man is very, very obstructive. And that's why we're so adamant about using a prudent system. So you have ways to support yourself, physical, mental, and emotional, all the way through with all the tools and all the herbs and so on and so forth. It's like night and day difference doing a fast like this versus somebody who's doing like a water fast. You know, and not doing any of this. It's just why? Why would you want to do that? So then, how do you know you're healing? What do you mean?
Yeah,
If you're fasting, you're healing.
Yeah, no, you'll know. You will know for sure. You've done 208 days. You will know. I mean, one time, a couple of times actually at work, I would be working. I'm sitting down doing colonics on someone, and I feel like as if I peed on myself. You know, like I feel liquid. And then the first time, I'm like, what is this? Did I get my period? So I go to the bathroom, and it's a big clump of mucus. I'm like, wow, this is wild. Yeah, I almost wanted to take a photo of it, you know? I was like, it's amazing. Like here, I was shocked and amazed and thankful, you know. You will know. And excited. And then when it happened again, I was so happy. Every time it happened, I was so happy. I was excited and happy knowing that there is something big happening, like coming out, maybe a cyst bursting. I don't know. And I don't know where it came from as well, maybe from my reproductive system or my urinary tract.
Even when we're eating, the body's trying to heal itself. Like if you get a cut in something you're eating, it's going to try and heal. But when you're in a fasting mode, it's completely different. It's full on in that mode. It's full on because you stop. As soon as you stop the digestion, it takes 24 to 48 hours for it to be into that elimination mode, where everything is full on into regeneration, removing obstructions, and finding balance. It's full on.
But the further you go in the fast, the further the healing, deeper.
Yeah. So the only thing missing, as I said earlier, is the trust and the faith that it is in that mode. Yeah. That's the only thing missing from people. We see it all the time from people's posts. They don't have that trust and faith. Oh, maybe I should go to ER. Go to ER. I can't help you. Maybe that's the most dangerous place to be when you're on a fast, by the way. And some people have gone that route because the trust and the faith is not there, even though all the information is presented over and over and over. It's just not registering, and the faith and the trust is not there. Like I said, it can get scary, heart stuff and stuff. It gets scary for people, but I don't know how else to convey the message. That's all it is. You're in that state. You're in that state, and it's an autopilot. If it's your time to jump the fence, you're going to jump the fence, whether you're eating or you're fasting, whatever. When it's time to go, it's time to go. And if you're fasting, you'll be in a much better transition than you would be if you're eating, for sure. So choose the way you want to live and choose the way you want to die. Jump the way you want to jump the fence. I find that I feel dualism when fasting. On one hand, I feel pure and simple state of being. On the other hand, I feel taxed and exhausted.
It's okay at the beginning. That's healing.
Yeah, that the states of the monkey mind come in where you're missing out on something when you're in that fasting state. That comes in. You're missing out on something. Well, like other people eating this, that, you're missing out. You're missing out. You're missing out. So stand back, let the monkey mind play, and know that it's not you. It can't be you. Yes, there's that dualism will never stop, Lisa.
Yeah.
But it'll come to a point where you can actually look back and see it for what it is. It's not you. It's just the monkey mind playing. Yeah. It's tape.
Well, one thing is, I'm sure everybody relates to this, is that we lose a lot of waste, and it's a lot, and it's, you're going to look different, and you might not like it. And another thing is that, we lose a little bit of strength. The body is going through so much healing, especially 108 days. Yeah, we'll be smaller. I'll be much smaller, much less inflamed, feeling amazing, but much less smaller. Maybe the smallest I've ever been was when I finished 108 days. Of course, this criticism from myself to myself and from other people to me, it's not fun.
Yeah. Look at how many people are so sick. You don't think that eating is taxing and exhausting? Way more than fasting is not.
Yeah.
It's the illusion and the misunderstanding that it's taxing and exhausting. Eating is taxing and exhausting.
But also, you know, this is only 108 days, right? And let's say I became 40 kilos, 108 days. Very small, the smallest I've ever been. And criticized, even I criticized myself when I looked in the mirror. It was my first one, especially. And people criticized me so much in my first one. Now, one thing we want to remember is that this is not going to be like this forever. You know, let's say I want to become liquidarian, breatharian. I am sure I'm not going to be small for the rest of my life if I don't eat again. So you want to have the faith that you will have the ideal weight when it's the right time for the body to have, you know, to build the strength. So that faith, I find, of course, we're lacking, you know, because we, you know, most of us have gone 108 days, not longer than that. And we haven't shown that you can gain weight on a liquid diet, on a liquid lifestyle. One person has shown it is Marine, right? Marine, I think 1.5 years into the master fast, but Marine is much more, you know, he's like, he comes from a very challenged place, and he was on 21 medications when he started, and he only removed the last medicine, the lymphatic medicine that he was taking. He only removed it maybe a few months before he reported to us that he started gaining muscles. And that was, I think, 1.5 years into the fast, right? About 1.5 years into the fast, he started sending us photos of muscles. And I remember he told me he was not working out. So it just came, you know, his body started building.
Yeah, I mean, he does yoga. He works out.
Yeah, but I don't think it was like intense yoga. It was more like meditative yoga. But I'm sure he used to work out, I know, in the past. So maybe it's just coming back. But he gained weight. He used to complain about how small he was. Remember?
Oh, yeah. He was complaining how skinny he was
Yeah.
for a long time.
But we forget, you know, I mean, so you just want to keep in mind these things.
What I see from fruit, even the fruit, is that it's a stimulant. Of course, we've talked about that many times. And I watch people take the stimulant and feel the burst of energy I long for. Sometimes I feel it from dry fasting. Yeah, it's just, it's a process. You're a couple of years you've been into this, you just barely begun. This is where you need to have faith and have the understanding as you keep going and training yourself to this kind of lifestyle of fasting. It's not easy living in this environment, in these environments that we live. So because it's doing the opposite. But remember where you came from, Lisa. Remember where you came from, and just have the understanding and the faith and the trust of what's going on. You know, if the fasting lifestyle is not for you, you go back to eating where you were. You just see where that takes you. You'll know very quick. You know, and people think that food's healing. I've not experienced that. Not experienced it at all. I've only experienced less obstructive foods. Not experienced foods healing, because foods do not heal. Only the body can heal itself. Only the body can feed itself. Only the body can hydrate itself, balance itself, build itself. It's all that the illusion thing that this thing will give you that, and that. You put something in the body is forced to work with it because you ate it. So that's the way I see it now. That's my understanding. I had the understanding, like everybody else, about the vitamin, minerals, calories, amino acids, blah, 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 blah. And that spiraled me out to confusion like crazy. and got myself in big trouble. So it's okay. I am quite overweight right now, actually, and I find losing weight is a bit of a slow go. I've got about 10 pounds to get to my top ideal weight. Yeah, so, you know, if you're overweight, you know, it sounds like you haven't been eating great. So, you know, just,
It's okay.
it's okay. Just,
You know the path.
you know what to do. You know what to do to purge and get that sense back, you know, the lightness and the freedom and so on and so forth.
Are you starting another one soon? Yeah, good. Awesome. Yeah, just do your best. Do your best. Nice. Yeah, 30 hours dry.
Yeah, the dries are a great reset. And that's, you get into those ecstatic states. It's awesome when you're in dry.
Yeah, good start.
Yeah, the most dry I did was in Italy. I did 42 days MFS, and I started with the 12-day dry, and 26 of those days were dry. You want to talk about kicking your butt? And I got bitten by a dog too when I was on my bike, Saint Bernard. It was.
But at least you healed quickly. Right?
It was quite a ride. Quite a ride.
Like, if you want a challenge, here you go. It's
Yeah.
like the matter with these challenges all the time. When you're in the
All
draw.
those challenges. You know, the monkey mind started as soon as I got bitten by the dog.
Okay.
You know.
I was actually going to say to Lisa, some of the evidence that I used to think while I'm healing is like, oh, my skin got really good, my eyes got better. So I tended to focus on that expansion rather than, oh, I got a kidney pain, or hand it over to the other dimension. Oh, I got, you know, my knee pain and all that, feeling a bit dizzy or whatever. I'll hand that over to the other dimension because I know that's called, I'm just healing, you know.
Yeah.
The other stuff, like, there's so much, like your teeth after you dry, your mouth, oh, yeah, that's just beautiful. You know, you're feeling your GI tract all clean, and when you put the plasma pudding in, you feel it pull things. And so I tend to focus, that's what I used to focus on that. Well, the soul told me to focus on that. And that gave me evidence, matter evidence in this world that, yeah, I was on the right path. And I'm curious to know, I think David's on here, and I think he's fasting. And I'm curious to know if he's how he's going and if he's doing well, and even if he just gives me a thumbs up, because I think he started in January from my memory. I hope you're doing well, David.
I think he's away. Oh, there you go.
Doing good. Day 61. Awesome.
Amazing. You're feeling it.
All right. We've at that time again to part our ways. Until next time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Keep that trust.
Thank you, Ranjit.
Keep
Diane,
the faith.
David, thank you so much. And Lisa.
It's not easy, but the path is simple. The magic pill is an illusion, but the magic process is right in front of your eyes. So just trust. And yeah, we're gonna have challenges, and the monkey mind's gonna be playing. It never goes away, guys. The monkey mind never goes away, but we can tame it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, God bless everyone. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Awesome. Ciao, ciao. And keep that plasma love flowing.